Welcome to another episode of Nothing Good After Midnight. I'm your witchy host, Desiree, and I figure since we're getting pretty close to All Hallows Eve, let's talk on some witchy things. So I am in a few different groups, but one of the groups I'm in is of like-minded individuals, mostly women, and the question was posed by one of the admins whether we all considered it cultural appropriation for people to dress up as witches for Halloween. Which I have very complex feelings about cultural appropriation anyways, but we're not going to get into that. We'll just go into basically what myself and others said. The majority of us that had commented last I checked all agreed that we did not feel that it was cultural appropriation because most of the costumes people wear are not historically accurate. My response was, not only do I not feel it's cultural appropriation because when someone dresses as a witch, they very rarely dress like the actual culture is, because historically speaking, most witches did not dress like Hollywood portrays them, which means that the costume that anyone wears on Halloween is likely not going to look like a witch. The other reason why it never really has bothered me is because I remember in my younger years being absolutely fascinated with the idea of magic and wanting to be a witch, like what you saw in Sabrina and Craft and Practical Magic and all that. So to me, people dressing up as a witch is them embracing the want for just a little bit of magic in their life. And I mean, what better day to dress up than Halloween? And as I got older, and anyone who knows me or follows any of my social medias will know that most of my social medias have a witchy theme. My bakery is called Mama Desi's Cauldron. My pharmacy is Unapologetic with Desi, but my cover photo says Witch with the Pharmacy Fix. And while I don't believe in Wicca or most of those religions, I'm kind of considered what most people think as a heathen witch. I don't do curses, I don't do things like that. I just kind of live a more natural life, because to me, historically speaking, the women who would have been considered witches were the first doctors. They were the people who knew what flora and fauna did what, how you could mix them to cure ailments. And that's something that even my very Christian family growing up, my dad was Lutheran, and that's something that he even liked was, we used colloidal silver for things. We used onions and garlic. We used, tea to help soothe sore throats, honey, lemon, cranberry juice, like all these, natural foods and drinks to help cure ailments your body has. And that's something that I've always really deeply believed in. And as I got older and did research, I realized that that's what would have been considered witchcraft way back in the day. And the whole witch theme got started with my bakery, and it's because my dad used to joke that I was a kitchen witch, and I was telling my husband about it when we first got together, so that joke just kind of evolved from there. And when I actually started selling my baked goods, it was because friends kept pushing me to sell them instead of just making them for fun, because I used baking to combat my depression. And so my husband would joke that I must be putting witchcraft in my baked goods, because typically when I get a customer, they always turn into a repeat customer. It's very rare that my customers buy from me and never buy from me again, just because I make things the way their grandmothers or mothers, depending on their age, would have been making them. I make things from scratch. I follow old recipes. That's just who I am. So to me, people dressing as witches for Halloween isn't cultural appropriation, because even the people I know who do follow the Wiccan standards and consider themselves a witch in that form don't often, I mean, they do sometimes, but they don't often dress like what you see portrayed. They just wear whatever's comfortable. And I consider myself a witch in that I believe in natural remedies, and that the moon affects us, and that the stars affect us, that crystals can help affect your energy and things like that, because I've seen it. Like, I got a bracelet that was a freebie that has a bunch of different chunks of crystals on it when I went to buy a gift for my one sister, and I wear it on my right wrist, which anyone who knows me knows that I'm left eye dominant. I was a lefty. I cut my hand open young, so I had to learn how to do everything with my right hand, and I get a lot of arthritis in my left hand typically. But even wearing the bracelet on my right arm and my watch on my left arm, because that's where I like my watch, I've noticed that it helps a lot keep me centered. And my next episode, I'm going to expand on grounding and why I feel that's important to do. But I've noticed that when I ground myself and wear my crystal necklace, and I bought one for one of my best friends too, it helps just balance your energies and your chakras, and the more balanced you feel, the easier it is for you to not get influenced by negativity. So in that way, it repels negative energy from you. And so, yeah, I like that people are interested in the culture, and I love that a couple years ago my town started doing a event called Witch's Day Out in September, and it's a vendor event and anyone can get a table, but that's where I've met a lot of the other people in this town who practice different forms of homeopathic or witchcraft or whatever you want to call it, because they'll get tables there, and it's been really interesting to get to go to that event and meet some of the other people in this community that, you know, live that way, that embrace the homeopathic and nature-based lifestyle. You know, I think that everything in nature has its purpose, and, you know, the elevation affects us, weather affects us, moon, stars, you know, crystals, what you eat, like everything is like interconnected, which is why a lot of people see me as a witch, is because I believe that everything has a deep connection far outside of any spiritual or religion base. It's like the universe influences everything. And over the last few years, I've just gotten more in touch with that, moved away from more of your traditional religions. And the reason I'm considered a heathen is because I don't subscribe to Christianity or any sects of that. I don't follow any real organized religion, including the Wiccan religion. I don't believe in a lot of their rules or creeds. I just kind of do my own thing. And I don't want this to get too super long because, like I said, I want to try to keep most of these around 10 minutes or so for now. I might do longer podcasts later as they progress, but yeah, that's just something I want to talk about. And what are your thoughts? Do you think that dressing as a witch falls under the cultural appropriation, or do you think it's all in good fun? Or really, just write me with anything that you feel. I would love to hear your thoughts on any of my podcasts, really, but especially getting ready to celebrate Samhain, All Hallows Eve, Dia de los Muertos, all those more harvest and spooky spiritual side holidays over the next few days. What are your thoughts? What are your traditions? What do you do from the October 28th? And I'm sorry if I got the wrong day for the first day of Dia de los Muertos, but what do you do towards the end of October, early November to celebrate this time of year? Look forward to hearing from you. Love you all, and have a blessed night and day.